Port Adelaide made the long journey out to Elizabeth to play an under-strength Central District. The Magpies started well and maintained their pressure and intent for most of the match, a consistent, balanced effort that pleased coach Julian Farkas. Jake Johansson was SA's best player in the recent Under-16 National Championships and carried on with his good form. The midfielder racked up 28 disposals, 5 clearances and kicked 3 goals. Zach Hawkins is in his first full season of Under-18 competition and has been playing as an outside midfielder, but a switch to playing as a small defender has seen him turn in his best game to date. He gathered 27 disposals and used the ball well, helping set up opportunities further afield. The Magpies Under-16 captain Jack Cooper received a late call-up to the side and made the most of his opportunities at full forward. 9 kicks, 7 marks and 5 goals straight is an excellent return for effort. Tom Gray is another 16-year-old skillful midfielder come forward who was in and under all day, as well as showing good defensive intent when required. He collected 19 disposals, laid 6 tackles, had 8 clearances and bagged 2 goals. Tynan Keeley from Port Lincoln club Marble Range did the pre-season with the seniors and is really making his presence felt at centre-half forward. He amassed 24 possessions, 13 marks, 3 tackles, 4 hit-outs, as well as booting 4 goals. The Bulldogs continue to blood their juniors, with many under-16 players performing well. Playing his first under-18 game was Joel Foster, a member of the under-16 state squad who showed some dash playing across half-back. Another first gamer was 16-year-old Callum Loki from Angaston, who showed some promise playing across half-forward and wing. Josh Banks, another under-16, playing only his second game, impressed Bulldogs coach David Harvey with his commitment and endeavour. Jackson Baldwin returned after a couple of games with the reserves and benefited from the experience. He collected 30 disposals, 7 marks, 3 tackles and 7 clearances, a mighty effort in a losing side. The Magpies ran out comfortable winners by a margin of 92 points. North Adelaide played host to South Adelaide at home. The Roosters assumed control of the match from the outset. Although the result of the match turned out to be a percentage booster for the Roosters, for coach Heath Uni, it's now all about continuing to win games and keeping the players in a winning frame of mind. North's key forward Jared Coffey provided a target all day, plucking 8 marks. 7 goals, 2 from 12 kicks is a good conversion rate. 17-year-old Tyson Lindsay from the Barmera Monash Football Club in the Riverland was a real live wire across half forward. Recruited from West Adelaide this year, he played his best game of the season, collecting 16 disposals, 5 tackles and slotting 5 goals. Lockie Robinson is another country lad that travels 300 kilometres from Wilmington each week to play. The talented midfielder amassed 28 possessions, 8 marks, laid 7 tackles and had 8 clearances. With stats like that, it was definitely worth the cost of petrol. Chris Johnston travelled from Port Augusta for his first game and was very impressive. He showed a great turn of speed playing across half forward and wing, collecting 12 possessions, 4 tackles, 4 clearances and a goal. His was a great first-up effort. Coach Uni also made special mention of the efforts of another country lad from Warrabra, 16-year-old ruckman Brodie Swar, who continues to improve each week. In addition to 18 hit-outs, he gathered 7 kicks, gave off 8 handballs and took 3 marks. He does a lot of team-orientated things that don't necessarily show up in the stats. For South coach Kim Cobb, he was pleased with the ruck work of 16-year-old tall Pete Steff, who got his hand to 46 hit-outs. However, he needs to get himself in position to do more around the ground to further develop his game. Tom Driscoll, recruited from Norwood and playing his second game, was also very competitive at centre-half forward. 12 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles and a goal was a commendable effort. The Panthers' defence had plenty of work to do and Max Duncan across half-back got plenty of the ball. 22 disposals and 5 marks, while centre half-back Tom Grouch never stopped competing and contesting. Coach Cobb praised the efforts of Sam Whitson, a bottom ager from Flagstaff Hill, who came into the side and acquitted himself well, playing as a defender on the opposing tall. The Roosters were dominant though, winning by 113 points. The match of the round was at the Woodville Oval when 4th-placed Eagles did battle with 2nd-place Sturt on a perfect day for football. The Eagles got off to a flying start, kicking the first 2 goals of the game, but the Double Blues steadied and kicked the next 7 to set up a very handy 32-point lead at quarter time. Eagles coach Shane Grimm was furious at his players' lack of accountability and let them know. To their credit, the players responded positively and fought their way back into the game, aided by Sturt's poor kicking for goal in the second quarter. A 6-goal to 2 third quarter by the Eagles saw them edge in front by three-quarter time. The Eagles scored the first goal of the final term to set up a 9-point lead. Again, Sturt responded with 3 goals in 5 minutes to regain the advantage, and the final quarter became a bit of an arm wrestle. For the Double Blues, the versatility of Josh Builder helped him turn the match in Sturt's favour. After playing at centre-half forward and in the ruck, his move to centre-half back in the last quarter helped steady the ship. Jaron Mail from Harndorf, playing on a wing, collected 22 disposals and kicked 4 goals, 2 coming during a critical period in the final term. In fact, Sturt's centre line all hailed from Harndorf, with Dean Gore, an under-16 player, on the wing, and Dylan Matson in the centre, picking up 20 disposals, 8 clearances and a goal. Henry Carey, an under-16 player from Unley High, played across half-forward, also chipping in with 3 goals. A special mention must go to the lion-hearted performance of Jake Atkinson in ruck. 19 disposals, 11 marks and 29 hit-outs was inspirational to his teammates. For the Eagles, James Batty, a midfielder and small forward from Henley High, was an absolute standout performer. 27 possessions, 11 marks, 7 clearances and 2 goals. It was a very good day at the office. Albie Dunstan from Yadunda played his best game for the club at centre-half forward. 21 disposals, 14 marks and 3 goals from the former fullback should mean his days as a defender are behind him. Luke Dunstan, no relation, is a midfielder from Clare who also stood out with 25 disposals and 3 goals. Carl Muller was always making a contest. In addition to getting 30 hit-outs, he gathered 19 possessions and 7 marks. In the end, it was a well-earned victory to Sturt by a margin of 17 points. Fifth place Glenelg hosted third-placed West Adelaide down at the Bay. After their shock loss to the Panthers, the Tigers had spent the double bye working on developing a stronger mental preparation and playing each game as if it was their last. And it paid a dividend on match day. Glenelg were on song right from the start, and it was only the Tigers' bad kicking that kept Westies in touch for 3 quarters. Ball kicking for goal aside, Tigers coach Adam Blakely was delighted with his side's commitment to the contest, crisp ball movement and defensive pressure they exerted around the stoppages. Coach Blakely was particularly pleased with the work of Brad Wood, who continued to leap all day, getting his hand to 35 hit-outs and providing his midfield and on-ballers with first use. Billy Laurie, back from a stint in the reserves, provided a focal point at centre-half forward, collecting 20 disposals, 5 tackles and booting 4 goals. When required, his defensive work up forward was superb. Tyler Baker, recruited from Kingston in the southeast, played his best game of the season across half forward. A real 4-quarter effort saw him rack up 22 possessions, 7 marks and finish with 3 goals. Brad Merritt, also playing across half forward, gathered 20 disposals and took 11 marks, 5 of them contested, as well as bagging a goal. Bloods coach Jared Mears, whilst high in his praise of Glenelg, described his side's performance as a very bad day at the office and our worst performance of the season. Ryan Dykesman was again outstanding. 31 possessions, 4 tackles and 7 clearances in a losing side says it all. Simon Wong, a recruit from Scotch College, certainly made the most of his limited opportunities, whether at half forward or on a wing. 19 disposals, 8 marks and 2 goals is a good return. The Tigers were too strong on the day and inflicted a 61-point hiding on the Bloods.